Got milk? Got water?
Hey people, welcome back. It is week 33 of 2017, and this week is brought to you by the word relief. Oh man, made a big cut to the volume and some of the weights I'm using, and oh man, does it feel a lot better to not be ultra fatigued. What you're going to notice, what I ended up doing was, aside from lowering the weights and reps, kind of as a countermeasure, what I did is, you'll notice on squats, for example, I tried to not fully lock out at the top, keep tension on the muscles. Since I'm not doing very many reps, I want the reps to be a bit more difficult. And on things like bench, either tried to slow reps down or add pauses where there weren't pauses before. And even with the volume cut this week, which brought me down about 30,000 pounds from the 170 range down to the 140 range, that's actually still higher than the pace I need to hit on average for the rest of the year to hit my 7 million pounds goal. I think that number is actually something like 122,000 per week from here on out. So it's actually good to be a little bit ahead of pace because I do have some travel planned between here and the end of the year, I should say. So there's going to be a few missed workouts between now and then. So I figure, hitting a slightly higher average right now will help make up for that. Yeah, so since a bunch of the volume was cut off of my leg work, I added a little bit to my running training because I think I told you guys last week my 5K was in 3 weeks. That's actually slightly incorrect. It's actually 3 weeks from this weekend, not last weekend. So still got a little bit of time to go there. But anyway, added 2 intervals to my twice per week interval workouts. So I'm still doing quarter miles, but since I added 2 intervals, I need to slow the time down, or the running speed down, I should say, a little bit. So I'm still doing an interval like every 3 minutes, which is what I was doing before, but the running is slightly longer and the rest is slightly shorter. So for example, my first time out, I think I hit the first one in like 92 seconds, which was actually a little too quick. Then it was like 95, 95, 98, 97, and then the last one gassed it and got like 86. So yeah, so a little bit less rest, a little bit slower on the running, and just trying to get a little more work in so that we're good to go for the 5K. Yeah, and the way I judge whether my running pace was too fast is if I can't breathe through my nose within 10 to 15 seconds of the end of the interval. If I still am like panting basically with my mouth open, like like that. Sorry for the heavy breathing. That indicates that the interval was too fast. I need to slow the pace down. Yeah, and speaking of pacing, I think the best case scenario I'm looking at during the race itself is 7:30 per mile pace, which I think works out to 23:15 for the whole course. I think the key there is to make sure I get to the first mile marker and possibly even the second mile marker feeling good, like not breathing too hard. I recall last year, of course I had done no running training, but I got to the first mile in like under 8 minutes, and that first mile is ridiculous because there's a gigantic hill that we climb and we don't actually come back down that hill until well into the second mile. So yeah, I was out way too quick, and of course got like a gigantic cramp, and so I ran like the second 2 miles with like a massive cramp, which was just unpleasant. But what's never unpleasant? The one and only hump day. Oh yeah, and you guys know me pretty well by now. It's hard for me to take a taper week and not then try to lift something kind of heavy. So 275 on the warm-up, no problem. 315, same, no problem. So put 365 on the bar, and as long as my body weight this week comes in at a good number, this should be a new strength to body weight ratio record. Yeah. So here we go, ready to go, down, good depth, and right up pretty much. So that was excellent. Then after this, started working up to a deadlift to see what I could do on the deadlift. Though when I got to 365 on the dead, I actually stopped here because even though it moved well, I felt some tweakage in my abdomen region, and I thought, oh, I know what this leads to. This leads to hernias, so I'm actually going to stop there for the day. Yeah, one thing I noticed though, when I went out for running after this workout, because Wednesday is my second interval day of the week, definitely was feeling the after effects of the fight or flight adrenaline hit, because when I put weights on the bar that I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get some of that fight or flight action going, and I just think that overclocks your system so much, you're just dead afterwards, you know. So when I was out there running, I was definitely not hitting the same kind of times as I described earlier with the Sunday workout. But nonetheless, got that workout done, because you just got to get it done. Anyway, updating the squat data screen here. I actually had to age off a couple of old entries because I'm running out of room. But yeah, as it turns out, did get a new strength to body weight ratio on the squat, 365 at 142.5. I will take that, especially on the diet. Greatest diet ever. And the volume update for week 33. Yeah, as mentioned, most of the volume cut came off the squats, and we're at a total of 139,205 for this week, which is a drop of like 32,000 from last week. Feels good. And 2017 goals update screen. Yeah, no injuries. Woohoo! But actually, got to be careful with those max attempts, because like I said, I did feel some zingage in my abdomen, so got to be careful. 11K chin-up challenge, we're at 78.14, and we're at 5.04 million pounds for the year. Yeah, 2 million to go. And last but not least, diet data screen. Yeah, down about half pound this week on the scale, which is good. Actually came in a little low on the calories. I'm actually going to probably make that my new target for now. I'll explain a little more about that next week. So until then, guys, you take care. I'll catch you then.